From the National Weather Service in Raleigh, it's Nick Petro with your 11:30 Thursday, July 8th Elsa briefing. 11:30 this morning, Thursday morning here, and let's first jump right into the radar because this is what's happening. The concern right now, this pink or purple box you see right here, that is a tornado warning for basically northern northeast Wayne County, and the concern has been these. Rotating cells, and I apologize, I just loaded it here a few minutes ago, so I don't have a whole lot of frames to go by. But there is implied rotation here with this cell, and that was what prompted the warning to be issued right here at the bottom of this reflectivity signature. But much like tropical cyclone tornadoes or rotating storms, they tend to weaken very, very quickly. Okay, I see. I am so sorry okay, thanks again. This is Nick Petro from the National Weather Service in Raleigh with your 11:30 Elsa briefing. And let me jump right into the live radar here. And this is a tornado warning that is in effect for about another 10 minutes there for Wayne County. This cell here was the cell of concern that prompted the warning. And let me point out that these are classic tropical cyclone rotating storms, which means they spin up very quickly out of almost nothing. They do not last very long. And if they put down a tornado, it usually is very, very brief. And they dissipate just as fast as they form. So these are the most challenging tornado warnings to issue because almost every one of these little cells have some rotation with them. So trying to pick out the strongest ones or the ones that are most likely to produce a tornado is indeed a challenge, but that's what our team of meteorologists here at the National Weather Service in Raleigh, several of which are monitoring the situation, are doing. They're assessing these cells, these rotating cells, and seeing which ones have the capability to produce a tornado. So just keep that in mind. Keep in mind that tropical cyclone tornadoes usually come with very little lead time just because of how quickly they spin up and how short they last. So it's really, really especially important that anytime you receive a tornado warning, you do not delay seeking shelter, but especially during tropical cyclone events because, the warning may go out with very little lead time. So keep that in mind. If you hear one of these, immediately seek shelter. All right, so this is a current radar situation. Let me go ahead and put that into a loop. And you can see the center of circulation of the point of which, things are the overall center of the storm is sort of moving across the Rockingham area and Richmond County. And the reason that's sort of good news is because that means it's moving pretty quickly. And as we were predicting, this would be a fast moving system. It's only going to be in the state for, a total of maybe 9 hours at most. So anyway, it looks like, if you're basically in the southwest portion of central North Carolina, things will actually start to improve very soon. So anyway, the main precipitation concerns with any of these cells, like you see these darker cells, let me stop the loop, but any of these cells that you see here that are, let me go back to my highlighter. These are the cells that will have the heavier rain and the heavier wind gusts, okay? So wind gusts so far have not been terribly strong, but when you see the light rain, it'll just be, or the lighter shades of green, that just means very light rain, probably fairly weak wind. But when you get into these yellow shades and these orange shades, that's when the wind picks up and the rain rates pick up as well. All right, so let's go ahead and the other thing I wanted to call your attention to, just for, I know folks may be wondering, but this is the current radar as well. And let me show you so far how much precipitation has occurred, say, in the last, I don't know, 24 hours. And these numbers that will appear. So far, rainfall has been, I would say, at or maybe just below what we're predicting, and therefore the flash flood risk has not been quite as bad. And I'm not sure why the rainfall amounts aren't pulling up here. I apologize for that. But let me switch to wind gusts as well, and if that works for me. Oh, because I don't have a box checked. So let's take a look at these wind gusts, and you'll notice that we're seeing wind gusts of 37, 25 miles per hour. Never mind this 100. Obviously, that's a broken gauge. But 29 here in Raleigh at RDU. So you could see that the high end of the wind gusts have been sort of in the mid 30s. So what can a mid 30 mile per hour wind gust do? Not a whole lot of damage, but if there's a leaning tree, a dead tree, there could be one or two trees that are blown down, and we've seen that already. But these higher gusts are more likely to occur where you see these higher reflectivities in the radar, in the rain bands. And since I think it should be working now, I'll show you real quick how much rain has fallen in the past 24 hours, and you could see we're looking at rainfall amounts, down in the Sandhills region where it's been the heaviest so far, upwards of 2 inches, 2.5 inches. And, but these numbers will begin to climb across the northern half of central North Carolina as the day progresses and these heavier bands move through. Okay, so it looks like this rain event is going to be something along the 2 to 3 inch rain producer. Again, very much in line with what we've been predicting. All right, so let's get to the slides here. And right now there is a tornado watch in effect for a big portion of eastern North Carolina. Basically from the I-95 corridor eastward is where we expect the greatest risk for tornadoes to be. All right, and we still have the flash flood watch in effect for today. Again, we have seen already 2 to 3 inch rain amounts across the southern portion of central North Carolina. Those rainfall amounts will be increasing further north as we get into the heavier bands, as those heavier bands shift further north. So anyway, there still is a risk for localized flash flooding, streams elevating, drainage ditches filling up, that sort of thing. All right, so this watch is in effect through the rest of this afternoon. Let's see. So the main concerns here are obviously, wind gusts 35 miles per hour. We've already seen that. We do have that flash flood watch in effect. 1 to 3 inches of rain looks pretty much on target. That could produce localized flash flooding. And then finally, we've already had to issue a tornado warning. There's been additional tornado warnings to our southeast. Again, the risk is still small because, again, these cells are very weak. These rotating cells are generally weak, and the likelihood of any one of them putting down a tornado is not particularly high. But if they do occur, they're usually very brief. They spin up, they touch down, and they're done within just a matter of a few minutes. Okay, and that risk will run basically through the rest of this afternoon as those heavier bands move through. All right, so what else do we have? This is the expected maximum wind gusts. So you could see, 25 gusts to 35 are possible. Again, much higher, closer to the coast, and in coastal sections along and east of Highway 17 is where you'll see those 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Okay. How much rain? Again, this looks pretty well on target. 2 to 3 inches of rain is what we've sort of been advertising, and we are all set to hit those numbers. Anson County, Richmond County, Scotland County, they've already hit those numbers. So again, those numbers, those rainfall amounts will start to increase across locations further north. That said, again, here's where we think the greatest risk for flash flooding is today. Once the rain ends, though, obviously that risk will diminish. So places like Wadesboro, Anson County, the rain is largely ended. So your risk for flash flooding is pretty much over. Okay, but further north, obviously, that risk for flash flooding continues. All right, so 2 to 3 inches of rain probably is not going to cause river flooding. So again, we're not really concerned about that at the moment. Yeah, the river levels will come up a little bit, but not to the point where flooding is expected. All right, in terms of how this will evolve the rest of the afternoon, here's in the upper left is the live radar as of 11:15, and you can see the progression by 3 o'clock this afternoon. The heaviest bands should be north of I-40, actually kind of along and north of I-40. So you could see, basically northern sections of central North Carolina and eastern North Carolina still sort of under the gun, so to speak, with these heavier bands. By 6 o'clock, it's pretty much over for central North Carolina. There could be a few stray showers this evening, so that's why I included the 9 o'clock image, because, there could be a stray shower, maybe a stray thunderstorm, but the consolidated showers and thunderstorm activity in the bands associated with Elsa will be done by 6 o'clock, exiting to our northeast. And most of central North Carolina should be dry this evening. So just another few more hours. What do we got? Maybe 3 to 4 more hours of this if in the central part of the state. And and we should be pretty much done with this. All right, so again, here's our tornado potential, greatest risk where you see the dark green and yellow. Obviously, that's already ongoing. So everything's pretty much on track, and really I would say no surprises here. And forecast, I think, was pretty well on track. Again, it's just now a matter of getting through the rest of these bands. Okay, so again, don't be surprised if you see a gust of 35 miles per hour. We've already seen a few of those. If you haven't hit the 2 to 3 inch rainfall amounts, that means you haven't gotten into the heavier rain bands yet. So they will be on their way, and I think most of central North Carolina will see something in the, by the end of the day, we'll have something in the 1 to 3 inch rainfall amount. Again, we'll keep that flash flood watch going until those bands exit, because, those heavier bands produce heavy downpours, and that is the time when those heavy bands are moving through when that risk for localized poor drainage flooding will be the greatest. Okay, and again, watch out for those isolated tornadoes, because those can develop quickly, come with little lead time because of the nature of those storms or cells. And let me pull the radar up real quick here just to get a quick look to see if where we're at. Again, these yellow bands, those are the ones, and these little cells here we have to watch very, very closely. Okay, so it looks like the counties near the South Carolina border, things are actually improving pretty rapidly here. So fortunately, this storm is these cells, these bands are moving very quickly, and we just have a couple more hours to go if you're basically in the Triangle region and in northern I-95 corridor region, I-85 corridor region, and then this should be over by later this afternoon. All right, so this will be the last full briefing for Elsa. Now, as the day progresses, we will be, putting together these one-pagers briefings as needed. So if there's a need to push information out or updated information that would supplement what I just showed you, we'll send those out by email. But this is our final full briefing for Elsa. Now I know it's 11:45 already, so I don't want to keep people. But I because every Thursday we do typically do an extended outlook briefing. I didn't want to be remiss in letting folks know what to expect this weekend and early next week, so I just have a couple slides. If you have to drop off, no problem. I understand this is a longer briefing, but anyway, just a quick outlook in the spirit of our routine Thursday briefing. But for Friday through next Wednesday, and basically once we get past Elsa, so we're talking about starting tomorrow. We're going to be tomorrow very typical, and this weekend very typical summer pattern with almost daily chances for isolated or widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly afternoon and evening. Friday through this weekend, high temperatures around 90. So think typical summer weather. Widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, highs around 90, maybe low 90s. That'll be Friday and through this weekend. But then early next week, the high pressure that's Bermuda high is going to strengthen over us, actually. So that may actually shut down rain chances, or at least limit rain chances Monday through Wednesday. So most of Monday through Wednesday may in fact be dry, but still kind of hot with high temperatures around 90. So all in all, once we get past Elsa, I mean, aside from a few daily afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, the weather's not looking too bad. And after today's rain, if we get an additional inch Friday through Wednesday, then that would be at the most from these widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. So not a whole lot of rain after today for the next 7 days. All right. No, this is, again, keep in mind, this is not today. This is Friday and Saturday. No flash flood concerns Friday or Saturday. And once we get past today, no severe thunderstorms expected for the next couple days after today. All right. What else is in the tropics, if you're wondering? Well, is Elsa it? Well, there is actually a broad trough of low pressure over southern Texas, but the Hurricane Center says 0% chance of formation through the next 5 days. 0% chance. That's pretty good, I should say. No concerns there. All right, so wrapping up again after today, so we're talking Friday through Wednesday, very typical summer pattern, daily chances for showers and thunderstorms, mainly afternoon and evening, highs around 90, and then should be fewer storms Monday through Wednesday, against the highs still around 90. So that wraps up our routine briefing, and I will be happy to take any questions as it relates to Elsa impacts and or anything I showed for later this weekend and next week.